Spiritual change is supposed to be taking place from the moment we get saved until the moment that we see Jesus face to face. To use a biblical term, it's called the work of sanctification. We know it's God's will for us to be sanctified because the Bible says in 1 Thessalonians 4 and verse 3, this is the will of God, even your sanctification. You say, what does that word mean? Well, sanctify means to make holy. And the word holy means to be distinct or to be set apart. That's the idea behind the word. In other words, God is in the process of taking sinful people like you and me and making us into holy people who think and live differently than the world around us. Don't be shocked when you think and you live differently than the world around you. That's the way it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be like the world. You're not supposed to have the morals of the world or the passions of the world or the ideas or the belief system of the world. No, 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 no. When God saved you, then He began to work in your heart and life. There is a process of transformation that begins where He is making you from being a sinful person into being a holy person whose life is distinctively Christian. Now, I hate to tell you this, but you need to hear it, and some of you already know it, but the work of sanctification is not always fun. It's not always pleasant. There will be times in your life when you will say, God, what in the world are you doing in my life? You ever had one of those moments? God, what are you doing? Why did this happen? Why am I having to go through this? Now, in reality, those are all silly questions because we already know the answer. What's the answer? God is changing us. That's what's going on. Why do I have to go through this valley? God's changing you. Why do I have to go through all this in my life right now at work? God is changing you. Why do I have to go through all these complexities and all this adversity and all this difficulty? Because God is changing you. That's what it's all about. God's at work in your heart and in your life, and He knows in order for us to become the people that He wants us to be, from time to time we have to go through some difficult things in our lives. You say, I thought God was supposed to make me happy. No, God's goal is not to make us happy, but God's goal is to make us holy. You see, God doesn't exist to fulfill our purposes, but rather we exist to fulfill God's purposes. Spiritual change. If you want it, God can do it.